In the days of medieval cruelty, he resorted to violence in extreme cases only. Ruling over huge power, he followed the motto, "It's time to show courage and love to the fatherland." Great monarch Otto I rallied the German state and restored the Holy Roman Empire, having received the title of the Great in his lifetime. In 912, the heir of Saxon king Henry I was born. He was named Otto. From his father, the boy inherited sociability and passion to hunting. Being 16 years old, Otto married Princess Edith, the daughter of Anglo-Saxon King Edward. The young wife inculcated love to sciences in Otto. After his wife's sudden death, deeply grieved Otto, who hadn't known reading and writing before, learned to read in Latin. At the age of 24, Otto succeeded to a throne of the Kingdom of the East Franks, as the German state was officially called at that time. According to his contemporaries, the young king wore only national clothes, loved feasts and rides, was generous and cheerful. In the first years of reign, he had to assert his right for the crown. The king's brother Henry headed a revolt and tried to kill Otto. But instead of executing the rebel, Otto showed unprecedented magnanimity and pardoned him. The brothers reconciled, and later on, Henry became the king's right-hand man. Otto also involved the third brother, Bruno, in governing the country, having made him a chancellor. The king directed all his force to uniting the isolated princedoms and creating a unified state. Otto relied on bishops and abbots. He gave them great privileges and granted land. For the first time, the king began to involve churchmen in military service. In fact, Otto placed the church in the service of the royal authority and made it his support. That sort of church received the name of imperial. Otto had to defend his state from a great number of foreign enemies too. In 945, he won a victory over Danish king Harald Bluetooth. As popular legends say, Otto reached the northern end of Jutland, and according to an ancient custom, threw a spear into the northern sea to mark the borders of his possession. In 951, Otto invaded Italy, aspiring to strengthen his influence on papal Rome. He took Adelheid, the widow of the Langobard king, under his protection. As she was good-looking, Otto married her. Thus, he found both a spouse and new territories. The king of Germans and Langobards, Otto I, not only distinguished with piety himself, he brought Christianity to other peoples of Europe and defended his possessions from attacks of the pagan Slavs. But Hungarians annoyed Germany most of all. The decisive battle at Lech took place in 955. The legend says that the spear with which the king battled was sacred. A nail from the cross on which Jesus was crucified served as the tip of this spear. The crushing attack of night cavalry put the huge Hungarian horde to flight. Germans didn't take any prisoners. They ruthlessly destroyed the enemies who tried to take cover from the foes. After the terrible defeat, Hungarians stopped the attacks, the long-awaited peace established in Germany, and Otto became the most powerful European monarch. Now the king still only had one contender, papal Rome. The situation developed for the benefit of Otto. In 962, Pope John XII, whose authority was threatened by Roman noble families, asked the monarch for help. Otto, at the head of his army, surmounted the Alpine passes, and having met no resistance, he came to a distempered Italy. The Pope's authority was restored. At the solemn ceremony in St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome, grateful John XII laid the crown of the emperor on German King Otto's head. Now the German king became God's deputy on earth. The secular and spiritual authority of the Holy Roman Empire, stretching from northern Italy up to the Netherlands, now rested with one person. People accepted the coronation with joy. August Otto, crowned by the Lord, the great and peace-loving emperor. But soon Otto developed a difference of opinion with the Pope. To gain a strong foothold in the capital of the empire, Otto, with the force of weapon, deposed Pope John XII, who crowned him and confirmed his protege, Pope Leo VIII, in this position. In August 972, Otto returned to Germany at the peak of his power. He was already sick, but continued to travel around the country. Half a year later, in Mimmenlev, on a Whitsunday feast, he felt feverish and weary. The 60-year-old emperor sat down in an armchair and asked to give the Lord's Supper to him, and then, with the greatest calmness, he drew his last breath. In 37 years of his reign as King of Germany and Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, Otto I laid the foundation of the strong state, which then existed for more than 800 years. The golden age of art of the Holy Roman Empire in the reign of Otto I was named the Ottonian Renaissance.